The Seoul Central District Court has ruled, and the verdict is clear. NewJeans' contract with Ottawa is legally binding, meaning their attempt to cut ties with the label has hit a legal dead end, at least for now. The court not only rejected most of NewJeans' claims for contract termination, but also shut down several key arguments, including allegations of plagiarism against ILIT and accusations that HYBE was trying to abandon them. This ruling is significant, not just because it determines the immediate future of NewJeans, but because it sets a precedent for how contract disputes in K-pop will be handled moving forward. Let's break down what this means, why the court ruled the way it did, and what comes next for the group. At the core of this case is a simple legal principle: contracts matter. The court ruled that the exclusive contract NewJeans signed with Ottawa in 2022 remains valid and enforceable. As a result, NewJeans must return to Ottawa, and any independent activities, including signing with a different agency or pursuing their careers under a different name, are strictly prohibited. NewJeans' main argument for contract termination centered around Adore's refusal to reinstate Min Hee-jin as CEO. The members claimed that her removal fundamentally changed their working conditions, justifying their departure. However, the court decisively rejected this, stating, Ottawa has the full capacity to recruit an alternative producer. The return of Min Hee-jin as CEO cannot be considered a valid reason for terminating the exclusive contract. In other words, the court saw this as an internal management dispute, not a legal justification for walking away from a binding contract. A company is allowed to make executive changes, and employees, including contracted artists, don't get to unilaterally terminate their agreement over dissatisfaction with leadership. Two of the most publicized accusations in this case were HYBE's alleged mistreatment of NewJeans, as implied by the term new berigo, and ILIT's alleged plagiarism of their concept. Neither argument held up under legal scrutiny. NewJeans pointed to an internal HYBE document where the phrase new berigo appeared, suggesting it meant that HYBE was discarding them. The court, however, ruled that the document contained multiple strategies for NewJeans' continued success. The phrase did not indicate an intent to abandon the group. In other words, while fans and some industry insiders interpreted the term emotionally, the court assessed it based on context and intent. Similarly, NewJeans' plagiarism claims against ILIT were dismissed. The ruling stated that ILIT's concept does not qualify as plagiarism of NewJeans. NewJeans' artistic concept is not clearly defined as intellectual property. This is an important clarification for the industry. Concepts like youthful innocence or Wadake aesthetics are not something a group can exclusively own, especially when there's no specific legal precedent to protect such branding. NewJeans also claimed that HYBE attempted to manipulate album sales reports, framing it as an effort to undermine them. But the court ruled that the corrections requested by HYBE's PR team were not an attack on NewJeans, but a clarification of stock-related disclosures. This is key because, in legal terms, there's a difference between actual harm and corporate adjustments. The court clearly didn't see this as an act of sabotage against the group. After the ruling, NewJeans released a statement acknowledging the decision, but making it clear that they disagree with it. We respect the court's decision. However, we believe this ruling does not fully consider the complete breakdown of trust between the members and Ottawa. We plan to file an appeal. This signals that the battle isn't over yet. While they have lost the injunction, their main lawsuit to formally terminate their contract is still ongoing, with the next hearing set for April 3rd. However, given how decisively the court dismissed their key arguments in the injunction case, it does not look promising for them moving forward. The reality is that contract disputes in entertainment are not just about personal feelings or artistic vision. They're about legally binding agreements, and in this case, the court has made it clear that NewJeans cannot simply declare their contract void based on grievances that don't hold up legally. This ruling is a harsh reminder that the K-pop industry is, at its core, a business. Regardless of how fans feel, regardless of how much the artists themselves believe they've been wronged, the law prioritizes contracts, evidence, and precedent. The court is not concerned with emotional narratives. The court is not going to invalidate a contract because the members feel betrayed. The court will only rule in favor of termination if there is clear contractual wrongdoing, and so far, they haven't seen it. NewJeans' decision to fight this in court was a gamble. And this latest ruling shows that it may not pay off the way they hoped. If they continue pushing and ultimately lose the main lawsuit as well, they will not only be legally bound to Adar, but could also face serious consequences for breach of contract. At this point, NewJeans has to make a decision. Do they continue fighting a losing battle? Or do they attempt to repair their standing within Adar? Either way, this case has already left a permanent mark on their careers, and the longer this drags on, the harder it will be for them to move forward, whether that's inside or outside of Adar.